Today's Friday Happy Math Hour. Today for the mini masters, it's for the summer one mini master. Today's the last day. Hopefully you haven't taken your exam. This way this video can be helpful. But today what I'm going to cover is going to be all these topics, which is linear equations, quadratic equations, applications on linear and quadratic functions, exponential functions, applications on exponential functions, solving exponential problems, financial applications, solving systems of equations, matrices, sets, and Venn diagrams, probabilities, and permutation and combinations. So I'm going to cover maybe an example or two of each one. So to start off, let's do linear equations. Number one, it says find the equation of the line passing through the through negative 2, 5 and the point negative 4, 6. So the solution is we have to find the equation in slope-intercept form, which is y equals to mx plus b. So we need to find my m, which is my slope, and the y-intercept, which is a b. There's my slope formula, which is y sub 2 minus y sub 1 divided by x sub 2 minus x sub 1. So let's get, and the y-intercept is going to be b equals to y minus mx. Okay, the points x1 and y1 and x2 and y2, so I'm going to match them with the given points. So my x1 is negative 2, my x2 is negative 4. My y1 is 5, and my y2 is 6. So all we do is plug them into the formula. So we get 6 minus 5 over negative 4 minus negative 2. So this becomes negative 1/2. So my slope is negative 1/2. Okay, now for my b, which is a y-intercept, to find the b, we choose one point. It does not matter which one, the first point, negative 2, 5, or the negative 4, 6. You get the same answer, whichever point you use. So since the first point is negative 2, 5, that's the one I decided to use. So I have my formula again, b equals to y minus mx. My y is 5, my x is negative 2, and my m is negative 1/2. So all we do is plug them in and evaluate, so we get b equals to 4. So my equation is y equals to negative 1/2 x plus 4. Because if you have y equals to mx plus b, this is my slope, my m, and this is my b. So my m is negative 1/2, and my b is 4. So this is my equation in slope-intercept form. Number two, it says find the difference quotient. We have f of x plus h minus f of x over h. This particular problem is going to assist you when you take the next math, if you have to take 1325. This is the beginning of doing derivatives. This is like the limit process. So it's good to know this type of problem. So we have f of x equals to x squared minus x plus 4. Okay. So solution, first I need to find f of x plus h. Okay, we're going to do it like in three steps. My first step, I'm going to find f of x plus h. My second step, I'm going to find f of x plus h minus f of x. And then my third step is where we put it over h. Okay, so this is the beginning. So I'm going to plug in x plus h for every x. Okay, so it's going to go here, right? X plus h squared minus x plus h. And now we do is simplify. So x plus h squared, right? We can do the FOIL, the FOIL here. X plus h times x plus h will give us x squared plus xh plus xh plus h squared. It's going to give us x squared plus 2xh plus h squared. So that's what we plug in for the x plus h squared. Now we bring down the negative x minus x plus h plus 4. So here with the negative sign here, we're going to distribute, which becomes negative x, negative h plus 4. So this is my f of x plus h. Now I'm going to find f of x plus h minus f of x. So as I mentioned, what I just found, the x squared plus 2xh plus h squared minus x minus h plus 4 is my f of x plus h, right? Which is that part there, minus my f of x, right? My f of x is the original function. Now the minus here means that I'm gonna distribute the -1 times every term in the parentheses, or you can just switch all the signs. That's what I tell my students. If that's positive, becomes negative. If that's negative, becomes positive. Positive becomes negative. That's what you do when you have like a minus. There's like a -1 here. Now, this is a heads up that I tell students. If the term doesn't have an h, it must cancel somewhere, okay, or it must be eliminated. Okay, for example, does the x squared have an h? No, it doesn't, right? So there has to be a negative x squared, you see, and here it is on the third term from the right. That cancels with that one here. Does the 2xh have an h? Yes, so that stays. Does h squared have an h? It stays. Does the negative x have an h? No, it doesn't. So there has to be a positive x somewhere, and it's over here on the right side. So that is eliminated with this one here. Does the negative h have an h? Yes, it does. Does the 4 have an h? No, it doesn't. So the 4s get eliminated. So what's left? 2xh plus h squared minus h. Now I'm going to factor out an h because I want to cancel the h on the bottom or eliminate the h on the bottom. So if I factor out an h, I'm left with 2x plus h minus 1. And you can always check your work by doing by the distributive property, right? So h times 2x will give us 2xh. H times h will give us h squared. And finally, h times -1 will give us negative h. So I know I can proceed. Now this is step 3 now. Okay, step 3, right? This is what we got from step 2. So all we do is put the h on the denominator. You see, so these will be eliminated, or these will cancel to 1. So my answer will be 2x plus h minus 1. This is the answer of the difference quotient of x squared minus x plus 4. Okay, now let's go to number 3. Number 3 is a word applications problem. You have to find the slope and find the linear depreciation function of this car, estimate the value of the car in 5 years from now, and at what range is the car depreciating. So in other words, what we got to find here is we need to get 2 points from the given information. And then we apply the slope formula to find the slope. And then we find the b, right? Like we did the one when they gave you 2 points. So how do we find the 2 points? I need to find 2 points. So by reading the first sentence is the manufacturer suggested retail price, which is the MSRP for a base model 2016 Toyota Prius, is $25,035. So in 2016, the car was brand new, right? So the car hasn't been driven yet. No time has passed. That's why when x equals 0, right? Because no time has passed, the original price was $25,035. So y equals $25,035. So my first point will be 0 and $25,035. Now my second point, we got it from the last part of the sentence. It says in 4 years the car went down to 14,115. So it's going to be, so my next point will be 14,115. That's my second point. Okay. Now we need to find the slope and the y-intercept. So that's the formula for the slope, right? It's like this is y2 minus y1, which is 14,115 minus 25,035, and 4 minus 0. So it's going to give us a negative answer, right? Because if it's depreciating, it means the slope is negative. So the slope will be negative 2,730. So that's my slope. Now to find the b, right? It's if you recall, guys, when x is 0, this is my b, right? Because remember when you're graphing or y equals to mx plus b, the b is a y-intercept, and how do we write it? 0b. So in other words, if this should be known right away, but if you don't know it, guys, that way we apply the formula. But this is your b here. Okay, let me work it out so I can show you why that's my b. So b equals to y, which is 25,035 from the first point, minus my slope, which is m, and my x is 0. So this will give us 0. So b will be the 25,035. That's my b. So my equation is, right, that's my slope, my m, this is my b. We plug him in, and that's my equation. So that's the answer for A. Okay. Now, for B, estimate the value of the car in 5 years from now. So what we do, we plug in 5, we find f of 5. Right, we need to find f of 5, which means we can evaluate the function by plugging in 5 for the x. This is going to give us 11,385. So the car will be worth 11,385 in 5 years from 2016. So in 2021, the car was worth 11,385. Now for C part, at what range is the car depreciating? This is, they're asking for the slope, but a lot of students make the mistake because they put negative. Already the word depreciating means negative, so you don't have to put negative. And if you do that on your My Math Lab, it's going to count it wrong. So the slope would just be 2,730, right? Because we know it's depreciating, that means it's negative. So this is the answer that they want. Okay. So let's go to number 4. And again, guys, I'm doing like the problem that I think, or the ones that I give. In my exam, in my final exams, I always try to give problems that the students will need in the future. For example, if they take the 1325 course. And also, I try to give some problems that the students might need also, if even if they don't do take a math career, that way at least they leave 1324 with understanding some of the material. So in this case, number 4, it says find the vertex, axis of symmetry, y-intercept, and x-intercept of the functions. So we have x squared plus 10x plus 9. So solution, right? If it's in this form, this textbook calls it the rule. Okay, just they call it the rule, but they're not specific of what rule. But this, in some other textbook, this is called general form or standard form right here. Okay, and then right now I'm going to show you the vertex form. So my vertex will be negative b over 2a and f of negative b over 2a. At times, this might be confusing to students, like what in the world is f of negative b over 2a? This is not that complicated, which means after you find negative b over 2a, you plug it into the original function to get the y value. This is the x value, the negative b over 2a, and this will be the y value. So let me show you what they're trying to say here. So this is how you find the vertex. Now, the axis of symmetry is x equals to negative b over 2a. So once you find the vertex, you also find the axis of symmetry. Now, for the y-intercept, it's also very easy to see because the y-intercept is very, you can observe what the y-intercept is. It always be the constant on every function. So it's going to be 0c, so the c will be 9. And for the x-intercepts, you have to know how to factor. Okay, so that's how you find each one of those. So here we go for the vertex. We have to know that a is equal to 1 and b is equal to 10. We plug into the formula, which would be negative 10 over 2 times 1 will give us negative 5. So this is my x part of the vertex. To find the y part, we evaluate at f of negative 5, which means we're going to plug in negative 5 back in the original function, which will be here where the x is, and also here where the 10x is, right? So for the x also here. Then we evaluate that, so that's going to give us negative 16. So what's my vertex? Negative 5, negative 16. Now, once we found the vertex, we also found the axis of symmetry. But it's got to be x equals to the x value of the vertex, which is negative 5. A lot of students make the mistake that they don't put x. They just put negative 5, which is wrong, because the axis of symmetry is actually a line. Okay, so you have to put x equals. So the answer will be x equals to negative 5. Now for the y-intercept, it's very visual. So the answer will just be 0, 9. C equals to 9, right? So the answer will be 0, 9. Okay, now for the x-intercept, you let y equal 0 and you factor. So here, guys, I also did a workshop on factoring. Maybe you guys can go back if you don't understand how to factor, or else join my Sunday numbers and I can show you how to factor. but the factors for x squared plus 10x plus 9 will give us x plus 9 and x plus 1. Then we apply the zero property theorem. It's going to be x plus 9 equals 0, and x plus 1 equals 0, so we subtract 9 to both sides, so it'll give us negative 9. And then the second one, we subtract 1 from both sides, is going to give us x equals to negative 1. So these are my x-intercepts, negative 9, 0, and negative 1, 0. And then they also ask you to graph it, okay, guys? But how you do to graph it, you plot all those points and then just connect them. It's going to be a parabola. Okay. Now, number 5, this in some books this is called the vertex form, or also the standard form. It depends who's the author of the book, but in this book they just called it the rule. So for this one here, it's something very obvious what's visual. The vertex is visual, and so is the axis of symmetry. For the y-intercept and the x-intercepts, you have to work for them, okay? But let me show you again what everything is. My vertex is hk. Axis of symmetry will x equals h, right? Which will be the x value of the x value of the vertex. And for the y-intercept, we let x equal 0 and solve for y. And for the x-intercept, we let y equal 0 and solve for x. So that's my plan. Okay, now, for the vertex, it's very, very visual. So whatever the h is here, right? I mean, whatever the h is here, if the h is negative here, it's going to be positive here. So since the h is positive here, it's going to give us negative 3. Right, negative 3, and the k stays how it is. So this is my vertex, negative 3, negative 16. Now to find the axis of symmetry, right, it's going to be the x number of the vertex. So it'll be x equals to negative 3. And that's my vertex. So, but for the axis of symmetry, it's going to be x equals to negative 3. Now to find the y-intercept, okay, we got the problem there. We're going to let x equals 0, so this is going to be 0. G of x is the same thing as y. This is a function, right, and y will be the equation, but g of x, y is an equation, but it's a function. That's why it's the same thing as g of x. And I believe they covered functions earlier in the semester. So we're going to let x equals 0, so we're going to put a 0 there for the x, right? G of x is y, so we're going to put a 0 for the x, right? So this gives us 3 squared. 3 squared is 9. 9 minus 16 is negative 7. So negative 7 is my y-intercept, but we write it as a point, which is 0, negative 7. This is my y-intercept. Now, to find the x-intercepts, we can do it in two ways. We can actually distribute or FOIL the x plus 3 and then subtract 16 and then try to factor it. But in my opinion, since it's already in this form, just solve it like this. Okay, let me show you how it's done. So again, so for the x-intercept, we're going to let y equal 0. So we're going to plug in 0 for the y, right? So we're going to add 16 to both sides because we're trying to solve for x. And then we're going to take the square root, right? To cancel the square here, we're going to take the square root of both sides, right? But I just put this one over here, the x plus 3 squared over here on the left, and 16 on the right, because I always like to have the x on the left side, right? So this will cancel, right? So the square root will cancel the square. So we're left with x plus 3 equals the square root of 16 is 4, so it'll be plus or minus 4. Now we subtract 3 from both sides. So it's going to give us negative 3 plus or minus 4. So it's going to be negative 3 plus 4 and negative 3 minus 4. That's what the plus and minus means. One's plus and one's minus. So negative 3 plus 4 will give us 1. And negative 3 minus 4 will give us negative 7. So these are my x-intercepts. Negative 7, 0, and 1, 0. And then actually you can plot the points and actually graph the parabola. Okay. Now, how does those quadratic equations apply in real life applications? Here, number 6 is an example of how do you apply a quadratic. Number 6 states the revenue for McDonald's Corporation in billions of dollars for the years 2015 Hey guys, I believe I did a mistake here. It's supposed to be 2010 to 2015. I have to go back and correct this one here. Can be approximated by the quadratic function. R of x equals to negative 1/2 x squared plus 13x minus 57. Where x equals 10 corresponds to the year 2010. So in other words, if x equals 10 corresponds to 2010, so then x equals 15 will correspond to the year 2015. And I repeat, this should have been from 2010 to 2015. So for A part, they want you to find the vertex. For B part, they want you to find the year during this period that the revenue was at a maximum. And for C, what was the maximum revenue to the nearest billions of dollars? A students, so once you find the vertex, you find the answers for B and C. Okay, so let's see how it's done. So for the vertex, it's going to be the same formula, negative b over 2a, f of negative b over 2a. So what we do here, right? Let's get the revenue function. So my a is negative 1/2 or negative 0.5, and my b is 13. So let's put into the formula, negative b over 2a will give us negative 13 over 2 times negative 5, negative 0.5. So this will give us, let's see here, will give us 13 because 2 times negative 0.5 is 1, negative 1. And negative divided by a negative will give us a positive. So the answer will be 13. Then we find R of 13, right? To find the y value of the vertex. So after you plug into the calculator, you should get something like 27.5. So this is your vertex, 13 and 27.5. So that's the answer for A part. Now for B part, it's going to be the x part of the vertex, but it's in years, right? Going back to where it says here, where x equals 10 corresponds to the year 2010. So 13 corresponds to the year 2013. So the answer will be in 2013 was the revenue the maximum. Now, the maximum value of any function or the minimum value of any function, it depends on how how the quadratic function is, if it's negative for the a, if it goes down, if it's positive, it goes up. But this is how you find the maximum or the minimum revenue. So it's going to be the y part of the vertex. You see the y value of the vertex is the maximum range. So it's 27.5, and it says to round off to the nearest billion. So it'll be the maximum revenue will be about $28 billion. Okay, so that's number 6. Now we're done with quadratic. So like I said, I'm only giving an example of each one, or maybe 2 examples. So now let's move on to solve exponential equations. So here they give you 9x, 9 to the x power equals 27. So in this case, you can do it 2 ways. You can actually try to solve it by having the same base or by taking the ln. I like to use the same base. I believe that's what I use here. Right? Now, see, these are not the same base. So, right, so I know that 27 is bigger than 9. So let's see if 9 squared gives us 27, which it doesn't. 9 squared is equal to 81, which means that I have to find the same base. So both 9 and 27 must share the same base, or find the common base between 9 and 27. So we know that 9 equals 3 squared, and 27 equals 3 cubed. So I'm going to replace the 9 with 3 squared, and we just bring the x down, and we're going to replace the 27 with 3 cubed. Okay. Now here we apply the exponent rule property. Apply the exponent power rule, which means when you have a power to a power, you multiply the powers. So it'll be 3 to the 2x equals to 3 cubed. Now since we have the same base, the 3 and 3, so then we let the exponents equal to each other. Right, which would be 2x equals 3, we divide both sides by 2. So x equals to 3 over 2. Now, you can always check your work, okay, your solution, by plugging into the original. So if I plug in 3 halves on the x, it's going to give us 9 to the 3 halves power. and you put it on the calculator, it's going to give us 27. I believe also on another video, I showed how to do it by hand without using a calculator. Okay, but anyway, you see they both are the same, so I know that's the right answer. Now, this is how you apply an exponential function in real life situation. It says the assets in billions of dollars for Prudential Financial Incorporated can be approximated by the function a of x equals to 315 e to the 0.056x. Again, for x equals 7 corresponds to the year 2007. So find the assets for the following years. The year 2000, right? So solution, so if x equals 7 corresponds to the year 2000, then x equals 0 corresponds to the year 2000. I mean, I believe I said it wrong. Since x corresponds to the year 2007, then x equals 0 corresponds to the year 2000, which means I'm going to evaluate, and then for B part, it will be x equals 12, will correspond to the year 2012. So for A part, I need to evaluate a of 0, which means I'm going to plug in 0 for every x. So anyway, 0.056 times 0 will give us 0. So it will give us e to the 0. E to the 0 will give us 1. 1 times 315 will give us 315. Okay? So this is the answer for A part. 315 billion. Now for B part, okay, again, good to know. 315 is the initial value because the time is 0. So that's why on some of these problems, right, the initial value will always be before any time starts, that will be your initial value, which is called 315. This is crucial for some problems on the homework and also from previous exams. For B part, right, we're going to evaluate a 12, which means we plug in 12 for the x. We put into the calculator. We get 616.8171575. Runs off to 616.8 billion. That's the answer for B part. Okay, now number 9. Actually, this is another exponential function here, guys. But this is how you find. They don't give you the function here. You have to find your own function. And in this case, they want you to find the function in the form of f of t equals to y naught b to the t. And this particular problem, guys, when I was teaching this 1324 in 2020, right before spring break, right? Remember when the COVID virus was infecting the world here? I came out with this problem so students can understand how to find or estimate how many people might be infected within certain months and stuff, or years or weeks, whatever it is. So here's a problem then, number 9. It says a deadly virus has infected the world. At the end of January, there were 2 cases, and by the end of April, the cases had grown to 128. I believe I got this information actually from as it was happening, because I believe at the end of January, I think there were 2 cases, I believe, in Washington. And then by April, it had grown to 128. So I used that information to actually come up with this problem here. And then for A part, this says find a model of the form f of t equals to y naught b to the t, with t equals 0 corresponds to the end of the month of January. If the trend continues for B part, about how many people will be infected by the end of the year. Okay, so solution, I need to find y naught and b right to plug into the formula. Once I find that, then I can estimate how many people will be infected within every month or every month. Yeah. Here we go. It says y naught is the amount present at time 0, right? So at the end of January, right, there were 2 cases. So t corresponds to the end of January, which was y naught will be 2 because there were 2 cases when they were first recorded. Okay, so y naught will be is 2. Now t equals 1 corresponds to the end of February, right? We have to go all the way to the end of April. So t equals 2 will correspond to March, T equals 3 corresponds to April, right? There were 128 cases at the end of April. So then we can go from from where it started at the end of January all the way to April will be T equals 3. So my next point, we need to find another point which will be 3, 128, which means, right, f of 3 equals to 128, right, because the point is 3, 128. That means in 3 months there were 128 cases. So then we're going to plug into the formula, right? F of 3 is 128. My y naught is 2. And my t here is 3, right? Because this is my y value and this is my t value, right? In 3 months there was 128, which means from at the end of January to the end of April is 3 months. So here we divide both sides by 2. So it's going to give us 64 equals to BQ. Now we need to eliminate that exponent, right? So we raise it to the power of 1/3 both sides. So 64 to the 1/3 power is 4. So B equals 4. So I found my y naught and I found my B. So all we do is plug him into the formula, right? So this is the answer for A, right? My y naught is 2 and my B is 4. There you go. So this is the answer for A part. Now for B part, it's saying if the trend continues, which means if there's no intervention, but here in the all over the world when the virus struck, the coronavirus, there was always intervention, right? There was mask, there was quarantine and all that stuff, right? But let's pretend that there was no intervention. So if nothing was done, let's see how many cases there will be by the end of the year. So again, we need to find 11, right? Because from January to December is 11 months, right? By the end of January to the end of December is 11 months. So that's why we have to evaluate f of 11. So we plug in 11 for t. So it's going to give us something like 8,388,608 people will be infected by the end of the year. Isn't that tremendous, guys? Like that many people. So this is a good way to actually the word problem, how to use it like in real life situation. That's why I decided to use this problem during the coronavirus epidemic. So this is how we solve these type of problems. Okay, now we're on to accounting, finance accounting, right? Or finance problems, which is, I believe, is chapter 5. This is number 10. Gabriel invested his summer earnings of $3,000 in a savings account for college. The account pays 1.5% simple interest. What will be the value of the account after 2 years? And how much interest did he earn? Okay, so what's the formula? So here's the key word, guys, right? Simple interest. It means this is going to be the formula for simple interest, right? That's the key word right here, simple interest. So so here, guys, we're looking for the future value, right? Because we're looking at what will be the value of this account after 2 years. So we're looking for FB, which is a future value. The 3,000 is a present value. That's how much Gabriel will be investing, is 3,000. The R means the interest rate. The interest rate is a number with a percent symbol, which will be 1.5%. But you have to convert it into a decimal, which means it's going to be 0.015 because you move it 2 places to the left and you drop the symbol. The time has to be in years, right? And this is 2. So time is 2. We plug him into the formula. And that's my result. And all we do is use a calculator. So the answer will be 3,090. Right? And also they want to see how much interest did he earn. So for the interest, it's a future value, which was 3090, minus my PV, which was 3,000. The answer will be 90. So in other words, Gabriel invested $3,000, and in 2 years he only got $90 back because the interest is kind of low. Value account after 2 years will be 3,090 and interest earned will be $90. Okay. Hey guys, I remember guys, why when I was growing up back in the 80s and 70s, they used to pay like a lot more than what they do now. I mean, the banks would. They will pay up to 9%. I remember that. Now they don't pay that much. So that's why the 1.5% is real low. Okay, let's go to number 11. Number 11, it says you deposit $9,000 in an account at your bank that pays 2.5% interest semi-annually. How much money will be on your account after 10 years? How much interest did you earn? For some students, they get confused with these type of problems, guys, right? Because they seem or they think it's the same kind of problem. But check this out, guys. There's always keywords that will let you know what type of problem it is and what type of formula you're going to be using. So in this case, they're saying that that semi-annually, right? So semi-annually means going to be 2. So it means it's compounded twice a year. This is a compound problem, right? So this will be the formula, right? But I prefer to use the 1 plus I to the nth power, and the I is the same thing as Rm, and the N is the same thing as MT. So what we do is plug it into the calculator, right? I mean, easier to put into the calculator. This formula will be easier. So we have to find my future value, my present value, my interest rate, how many times it's compounded per year, my time, and the I is R divided by M, and my N is the same thing as M times T. Okay, so let's see what they're looking for here. They're saying how much will be in the account after 10 years, right? So we're looking for the future value. The present value is how much was deposited into the account, which was 9,000. My interest rate is 2.5%. We have to convert it to a decimal. So we move the decimal place 2 places to the left, and we drop the symbol. The M is how many times it's compounded, so it says semi-annually. So it's going to be 2. My time is 10. So my I will be R divided by M. My R is 0.025 divided by 2, which will give us 0.0125. And my N is M times T. It will be 2 times 10, which will be 20. So we plug into the formula, right? To the formula here, the second formula. And then we just plug into the calculator, just the way it is. So it gave us 11,538.33509, which means it's $11,530.34. Okay. Now, how much interest did you earn? So here's what we do, right? How much interest did you earn, right? So we interest earned is the future value, what we just got, minus what you invested. So it's going to be the 11,538.34 minus the money you invested, which was 9,000, which will be something like 2,538.34. Right? That's how much money. That's how much interest you earned. Okay, now we're doing something from, I believe, chapter 6, which is solving linear systems of equations. This is solved by graphing. Let's call the first one equation 1, and then this will be equation 2. So for equation 1, my slope is 3 over 1, is 3, right? So we put it 3 over 1. My b, which is a y-intercept, is negative 6, which will be 0, negative 6, and that's my starting point. The b is my starting point. So we start at 0, negative 6, which is right about here. And this means that I'm going to go up 3. It's a rise over the run, so I'm going to go up 3 and 1 to the right. So I'm going to go 1 from the negative 6 down here. 1, 2, 3, and 1 to the right. So it'll be about right there. So to graph a line, we only need 2 points, right? So we already got them. So let's connect the lines. I mean the points. So that's my line. Now for equation number 2, set up equation in the form y equals to mx plus b. So negative 5x minus 2y equals negative 10 is not in that format. So I'm going to add 5x to both sides. We have negative 2y equals to negative 2y equals to 5x minus 10. So we divide both sides by negative 2. Right? So it's going to give us y equals to negative 5 over 2x plus 5. So my slope is negative 5/2. My b is 5, and my y-intercept will be 0, 5. So when you graph it, the b is the y-intercept. That's your starting point. So we're going to start at 0, 5. So 0, 5 will be up here on the graph, right? And negative 5/2 means that I'm going to go down 5 and 2 to the right. So from this point here, I'm going to go down 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 2 to the right. 1, 2. That's my point. So I connect the points with a line. So that's my line. So where the lines intersect, that's the solution. The point where both lines intersect is a solution, which will be 2, 0. That's my solution. Okay, now solving the system. Okay, you know what, guys? Let me go back real quick. Consistent independent system means that I mean, there's for 1324 they're not real. They don't mention that, but I believe for 1314 they do. So in this class is 1324, but I wanted this part of graphing be for both kind of courses. But anyway, consistent means that independent means that there's only going to be one solution. Okay, that's the wording for it. Now, solve the system by elimination. So by elimination, they must be in the form ax plus by equals c, both equations. So equation number 1 is not in that form. So we need to rewrite it in proper form. So we're going to subtract, we're going to add 2y to both sides, right? Because we have to have the x and the y on the same side, right? It has to be ax plus by equals c. So it gives us x plus 2y equals 19. So now equation 1 is in proper form. So now here, guys, we have to eliminate the x's or the y's, whatever is easier for the student. In my opinion, it will be easier to eliminate the x's. Why? Because if we eliminate the x's, only equation 1 must be multiplied by negative 4. Because negative 4 times x will give us negative 4x, and when we add it to 4x, they'll be eliminated. But we have to use legal math concepts in mathematics. So we need to multiply negative 4, right? I put here, need to eliminate the, right? I just explained that. So we need to multiply negative 4 times every term in the equation, or on both sides of the equal sign. This will give us negative 4x minus 8y equals to negative 76. So equation number 2, we just bring it over. Now we add them, right? So the x's will be eliminated. And negative 8 minus 3 will give us negative 11y. Negative 76 minus 1 will give us negative 77, right? So we divide both sides by negative 11. And that gives us y equals to 7. Once we find one of the values, either the x or the y, we have to go back to equations 1 or 2, whatever is easier to the student. And we need to plug in 7 for y and solve for x. Because remember, when we're solving systems of equations, it's if there's a solution, it's going to be a point, which means has an x value and a y value. So it'll be easier to go to number 1. Why? Because the x is already by itself, it's already isolated. So I'm going to plug in 7 for y, right? Because y equals to 7. So x equals to negative 14 plus 19, so x equals to 5. So what's my solution? 5, 7. That's the point of intersection. Okay, now how do you apply these type of problems in real life situation? And here's an example. It says here, a 200-seat theater charges $8 for adults and $5 for children. If all seats were filled and the total ticket income was $1,435, how many adults and how many children were in the audience? Okay, so there has to be some type of strategy here. So the plan is we need to find 2 equations. The first equation, right, we're going to put seats with seats, or people with people, and money with money, right? Seats with seats, right, which means the adult seats and the children's seats. So we have we're going to let x equals to adult seats and y equals to children's seats, right? And there's 200 total seats. So it's going to give us x plus y equals to 200. Now for the second equation, right? Since the adult tickets cost $8 and X represents adult tickets, right? So this is going to give us 8X. In a similar manner, the children's tickets were worth $5, and since Y represents children's seats, that's going to give us 5Y. And what was the total ticket income? Was 1,435. So this will give us a second equation. It's going to give us 8X plus 5Y equals to 1,435. So now here is where we're going to combine. I mean, here we're going to solve the equation, right? By the elimination method. So we're going to put equations 1 and 2. So here, since these are already set up in the AX plus BY equals C form, we're going to solve by the elimination method. Okay? So here, it doesn't matter what you want to get rid of, the X's or the Y's. It's the same thing, because we're going to multiply equation 1 by either -8 or -5, depending on what you decide to get rid of. So here, I believe I want to get rid of the X's. So I multiply equation 1 by -8. But I need to multiply -8 times every term. So -8 times X will give us -8X, -8 times Y will give us -8Y, and -8 times 200 will give us -1600. And equation 2, we just bring it over. So we add them, right? So the X's will cancel or they'll be eliminated. And -8Y plus 5Y will give us -3Y. And -1600 plus 1435 will give us -165. So we divide both sides by -3. So it's going to give us Y equals to 55. Then we need to go back to either equations 1 or 2 and plug in the 55 for Y. It's easier to go to equation 1. So we're going to plug in 55 for Y. So here we subtract 55 from both sides. So X equals to 145, which means X equals to 145 and Y equals to 55. So X represents adult tickets and Y represents children's tickets. So there were 145 adults and 55 children in the theater. Okay. Now this is a larger system of the new equations, where we have 3 variables. Okay, I believe I went over the plan when I went over this PowerPoint here. I think it was in week 2. But the plan is, guys, I'm going to use equations 1 and 2 and get rid of the X's, and we're going to use 1 and 3 and also get rid of the X's. So here I'm going to use equations 1 and 2. I'm going to get rid of the X's. So I'm going to multiply equation 1 by -2. So if I multiply -2 times every term, this is what it gives us. Equation 2, we just bring it over. Then we add them, so the X's get eliminated. So I have 4Y minus 3Z equals to 3. Now I'll do the same things with equations 1 and 3. Right, so here I'm going to multiply equation 1 by -3. Because remember, I want to eliminate the X's. So -3 times every term in equation 1 will result in -3X plus 9Y minus 6Z equals to 0. Then equation number 3, we just bring it over, and then we're going to add them, right? So the X's get eliminated. So it's going to give us 10Y minus 7Z equals to 7. That's my new equation 3. Now, the second step after we do that, we get the new equation 2 and equation 3, and we get rid of the Y's, right? So here, I'm going to multiply equation 1 by -10 and equation 2 by 4. Right, because this way, -10 times 4 will give us -40, and 4 times 10 will give us 40, and when we add them, they'll be eliminated. But I need to multiply -10 times every term. So if I multiply -10 times every term in equation 2, this is the result, -40Y plus 30Z equals to -30. In a similar manner, if I multiply 4 times every term in equation 3, it will give us 40Y minus 28Z equals to 28. So after we add them, the y's get eliminated. So we get 2z equals to negative 2. Now here's where we have to solve for z. We divide both sides by 2, and it gives us that z equals to negative 1. Okay? So then I'm going to set them up and back substitute. This will be equation 1, that x minus 3y plus 2z equals 0. The new equation 2 will be 2, and this will be the last one here. You see, so that's my new equation 1, which is the original one. Equation 2 doesn't have an x, so it's going to be the new equation 2. And what we got for z will be equation 3. Now I need to back substitute. So I'm going to go, since I already know the value for z, right, I need to find the value for y and for x. So we're going to go to equation 2, and we're going to solve for y by plugging in the negative 1 for z, right, and then evaluate it. So it will give us 4y plus 3 equals 3. We subtract 3 from both sides. So 4y equals 0, we divide by 4. So y equals to 0. Now we need to find x. So we go to equation 1. We know the value for y is 0 and the value for z is negative 1. So I'm going to plug in those values for y and for z. Right? So the y is 0 and the z is negative 1. We evaluate it, so it's going to give us x minus 2 equals 0. We add 2 to both sides. So we have x equals 2. So I found the value for x. So this is the solution. My x is 2, my y is 0, and my z is negative 1. That's where all three equations intersect. Okay, now, how do we for this one here? We're going to let's see here. We're going to multiply now. It says we're going to multiply by a scalar, and then we're going to add them. So let A be negative 2, 0, 5, 3, and let B equals 0, 2, 4, negative 6. Find each of the following. They want us to find negative 4A, 5B, and for C part, negative 4A plus 5B. So for A part, we have negative 4A, right? Means negative 4 times the matrix A. So I'm going to multiply negative 4 times every element in the matrix. Negative 4 times negative 2, negative 4 times 0, negative 4 times 5, and negative 4 times 3. Here, I'm going to do it this way so you guys can see exactly what I'm doing, but you can go straight from here to the answer. For example, what's negative 4 times negative 2 is going to give us 8. What's negative 4 times 0 is going to give us 0. What's negative 4 times 5 will give us negative 20. Negative 4 times 3 will give us negative 12. So this is the solution for 4A. Now for B, we want to find 5B, 5 times matrix B. So it's going to say 5 times matrix B is 0, 2, 4, negative 6. So in the similar format, we're going to multiply 5 times every element in matrix B. 5 times 0, 5 times 2, 5 times 4, and 5 times negative 6. This is going to give us 0. It's going to give us 10, 20, and negative 30. That's the answer for B, which is 5 times matrix B. Now for C part, right, so I'm going to do negative 4A plus 5B. So negative 4A, I don't have to do it again because I already did it in part A. Right? The answer was 8, 0, negative 20, 12. Negative 20, negative 12. Plus 5B, again, I don't have to do it again because we did it in B part, which was 0, 10, 20, negative 30. So when we add them, we add the first row, first column on A, plus the first row, first column on B. So it's going to be 8 plus 0, then 0 plus 10, negative 20 plus 20, and negative 12 plus negative 30. So the answer will be 8, 10, 0, and negative 42. That's my solution for part C. Okay, now we're going to multiply 17, multiply matrix. It's to multiply B times A. Because when you do multiplication, the matrix must be in a specific order, which means the numbers in the middle, right? So you have to get the size of the matrix, then the numbers in the middle must match. For example, we cannot multiply A times B because you see we have a 3 and we have a 2 here. We cannot do that, but can we do B times A? Let's find out. B is a 2 by 2 matrix, and A is a 2 by 3 matrix. So yes, it can be done, right? Because the 2 in the middle are the same numbers. So yes, it can be done. It's a match, and the answer will be the outer numbers. The answer will be a 2 by 3 matrix. Okay, this we're going to do it in steps. Okay, so the first step, I color coded the first row on matrix B, and I color coded in red on matrix A, right? Because I'm going to multiply the first row times every column. So we have 1 times 2, which will give us plus, and then we multiply 0 times 4. So this gives us 2 plus 0 will give us 2. Now, right? So my first row, first column, the element will be 2. Now for step 2, we're going to multiply again the first row times the second column. You see now the second column will be in red. So it's going to be 1 times 0 will give us 0, and then plus 0 times negative 2. They will give us 0 plus 0. The answer will be 0. So my first row, second column is going to be a 0. Now step 3, I need to multiply still row 1 times the third column. Right, so the third column was going to be in red. So we multiply 1 times 5 and add it to 0 times negative 3. This will give us 5 plus 0. The answer is 5. So the 5 will be the first row, third column. And here, guys, we stop and go to the next row because there's no more columns to multiply by, right? That was the last column. So step 4, then we go to the next row, which is 4, negative 2. That's why 4, negative 2 is in blue. And again, we start from scratch. Again, from the beginning, we're going to multiply the second row times the first column. So 4 times 2 plus negative 2 times 4. This will give us 8 minus 8 will give us 0. So the 0 will be the second column, the second row, first column. So step 5. Let's see here. We have to multiply the second row times the elements on the second column. That's why they're in red. So it's going to give us 4 times 0 plus negative 2 times negative 2. That'll give us 0 plus 4. The answer is 4. So 4 will be the second row, second column. Second row, second column. So it's going to go here, the 4. Now the final step. So we're going to multiply the second row times the third column. So 4 times 5 plus negative 2 times negative 3 will give us 20, plus 6 will give us 26. So that's the answer for the element on the location of second row, third column. So that's my solution then. That's my matrix. Okay, now, number 18. Number 18, I believe, is something that I went over last week. Number 18 is we're going to be doing sets. So let the universal set, which is U, equals to A, B, C, D, E, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And set X equals to the elements A, B, 1, 2, 3. And set Y equals to the elements B, D, 1, 3, 5. And Z equals to the elements or the members. They're called elements or they're called members. Z equals to the members B, 2, 3. So before we do that, since we need to find the complement means not those, or the X prime means complement, which means not those. Okay, let me show you what it means. So this is X, correct? X is A, B, 1, 2, 3. So then we're going to go to the universal function here. So not A means not A on the universal function, not B, not 1, 2, 3. So what's left? C is left, D is left, E is left, and the 4 and the 5 are left. So that's X naught, or X complement. Now Y is BD135, and not Y in the same manner will be AC E24. Since we don't have to find not Z, right? So we don't find the complement of Z or not Z. So then let's do A. So this means an intersection, or I like to put it in other words for students, for it to make a little bit a better sense when the and or the intersection doesn't make sense to the students. So I tell students to use what do they have in common. So what does set X and say what have in common? Do they have in common an A, right? Let's go up here on the left. Do they have in common an A? No, they don't. How about a B? Yes, they have a B in common, right? How about a 1? Yes, they have a 1 in common. How about a 2? No. How about a 3? Yes, a 3. And that's it. That's what they have in common. So B intersects Y is B, 1, and 3. Now, this means or, right? Or it means union, like the upside down U. So like I tell the students, so first you write everything in set X, because X is first, right? So we write everything in X. X was AB 1, 2, 3. Then we're going to go to the Y set, and if it's already in there, we don't write it twice. So let's go to Y here. Is a B there already? Yes, it is. So we don't write it again. Is a D in there? No, D is not here, so let's put the D. Is a 1 there already? Yes, it is. Is a 3 there? Yes, it is. Is a 5 there? No, it's not. So we're going to put 5. So that's my answer. But at times, the back of the book, they put them in order, alphabetical order, and also from for integers or numbers, they go from least to greatest. So this is I mean, these two sets are the answer. It doesn't matter if they're not in order because they're called equal sets. Now for C part, the complement of X or not X, right? So we already did it here on the right. So the answer will be CD E45. Now, the complement of X, intersection complement of Y. So we did it here on the right. So that means, right, intersection or and, or what do they have in common? Do they have in common a C? Yes, they have in common a C, right? So it'll be C. How about a D? No, there's no D. How about an E in common? Yes, they have in common an E. So we're going to put an E. How about a 4? Yes, they have a 4 in common, so we're going to add 4 to it. How about a 5? No 5. So that's my solution. Okay, now for E part, we have complement of X intersects Z. So let's go here to the right. Right here we have the complement of X and we have Z. And they're saying intersection or and. What do they have in common? Let's go here to the complement of X. Do they have a C in common? No, right? Because set Z doesn't have a C. How about a D? No. An E, does set Z have an E? No, it doesn't. Does set Z have a 4? No. Does it have a 5? No, so that's going to be the empty set. They don't have nothing in common. It's the empty set, or the symbol means the same thing, empty set. Okay, now for F, we have X union parentheses Y intersects Z. So here we have to follow the order of operation, which first we need to do parentheses. Here the parentheses. So we have Y intersects Z. Right, so let's put X union. What is Y intersects Z? So let's go over here to the right. What does Y and Z have in common? They have in common a B. Right, it's here on the right. They have in common a B. They have in common a 3. Right, so Y intersects Z will just be B and 3. So now let's go to X union the set B3. So how I mentioned earlier, since the X is first, we're going to put everything in X. X is AB 1, 2, 3, right? AB 1, 2, 3. Then union means that we don't repeat them. So now let's go to the set B3. Is a B already in there? Yes, it is. So we don't write it again. Is a 3 there already? Yes, it is. We don't write it again. So this is my solution. A, B, 1, 2, 3. Well, that's how you do these type of problems. Number 19. Okay, now, here, number 19 states 60, this is, you have to do a Venn diagram, and then you have to know how to put them in the Venn diagram, and then from there, you can answer the questions for 19, which is part A, B, C, and D. So first, right, let's do the Venn diagram. We have 60 people total, right? So the universal set is 60. So here, we're gonna let C, let's set C equal comedies, right? So this will be my C there. Then we're gonna let set D equals to dramas. So the dramas will probably be over here on the other right. And set S be science fiction. So this will be my science fiction set. Okay, now, okay, here we start with the red here. It says 6 people like comedies, dramas, and science fiction. So in other words, you start for the all three intersect, right? That's why I have here. See, right, the wording, 6 people like comedies, dramas, and science fiction. This is a notation for that. Where does C, D, and S intersect, right? Which is 6 because 6 people like those. So here on the Venn diagram, it's going to be here the portion in the middle here. You see, that's where all the 3 sets intersect. So 6 will go there. Let's go to the second part. It says 13 people like comedies and dramas. The word and means, right, intersection or yeah, this is a symbol for and. So it's 13, right? So the comedies or set C and set D, right, where they intersect is 13. So this is set C, all this right here, and this is set D. So they intersect right here. So this is supposed to be 13. Since we already have 6 there, this has to be then 7. Because where they intersect is 13, which is 6 plus 7 will give us 13. Now, the third dot here. So 10 people like comedies and science fiction. So it's going to be C intersects S equals 10, which would be this part here, right? C intersects S would be this part here. So if we already have 6 there, this has to be 4 then, because 4 plus 6 has to give us 10. Here's where C and S intersect. Okay, now, 11 people like dramas and science fiction. So that's going to be D intersects S, which will be D and S will be this these two sets here. Since that's already 6, so this has to be then 5, because 6 plus 5 will give us 11. Then let's go to set C, right? It says 26 people like comedies. So we're going to go to C. All this has to be 26. Since we already have 4 and 6 and 7, so we're going to add these and subtract it from 26. So the answer will be 9, because 4 plus 6 is 10, plus 7 is 17. 26 minus 17 will give us 9. Now let's go here to 21. 21 people like dramas. So dramas, so set D stands for dramas, correct? So 21 people must be in here. We got 6 and 5 is 11. 11 plus 7 will give us 18. So since it's 21, so 21 minus 18 will give us 3. Right, D is 21, so this will give us 3 there. Now, for the last one, 25 people like science fiction. So science fiction is denoted by set S. So 4 plus 6 plus 5, right, then plus whatever is here has to give us 25. So 4 plus 6 is 10. 10 plus 5 is 15. So 15 minus 25 will give us 10. So 10 will be right there. Now what's missing is what's in the outside, right? What's in the union and the universal set, but not on any of the sets. So we have to add all these and subtract it from 60 because there's 60 people total. Okay, so X equals. So we're going to add 9 plus 7 plus 6 plus 4 plus 3 plus 5 plus 10, right? I'm adding all these numbers here on the Venn diagram, which will give us 44. So 60 minus 44 is 16, so 16 will go in the outside. That's the answer for part A. Now for part B, it says how many people surveyed like comedies, but neither dramas or science fiction, right? So let's go to comedies. Comedies is right here, right? How many people like only comedies, which will be only 9? Because even though this is said to write comedies, but they don't like science fiction nor drama. So the answer is 9. Okay. For part C, how many people surveyed like dramas and science fiction, but not comedies? Okay. So let's go here to dramas and science fiction. So it'll be this here, right? These two, science and science fiction, but not comedies. So then, right? So these two sets, set S and set D, will be all these right here, right? But not comedies means not these right here. So it'll be only be 10 plus 5 plus 3, which will be 18. So 18 people like dramas and science fiction, but not comedies. Then finally, for part D, how many people like none of the movies? The answer will be 16. Okay. That's how you work these type of problems with Venn diagrams. Now, number 20. Number 20 is, now we're going to probabilities. Number 20 says, a single playing card is drawn at random from an ordinary 22 card deck. Find the probability of drawing a queen, a diamond, a red card, a face card, or an ace. Okay. So let's see, let me give you here like a visual. Right? When you play cards, there's 54 total cards, right? But the jokers are not included. There's 52 and 2 jokers. That's why it's 54. So here, right, there's 13 of each suit. This is called the club suit, the spades, the hearts, and the diamonds. So there's 13 clubs, there's 13 spades, there's 13 hearts, and there's 13 diamonds. Okay, that's why there's a total of 52. Okay, now there's 26 black cards, right? Because there's 13 clovers and 13 spades, right? Will be 26 blacks and 26 red cards. There's 3 face cards. What are face cards? Face cards are the cards that have a face. For example, these are the face cards. You see, so every suit has has one of each. One jack, one queen, one king. So it's going to be a total of 12 face cards, right? Because there's 3 on each suit. Anyway, for part A, what's the probability of drawing a queen? So the sample space is 52, right? Because there's 52 total. So that'll be my sample space. So how many queens are there? There's 4 queens, right? Because there's 1 queen for each suit, so there's 4 queens. What's the total? Is 52. So 4 over 52 will give us 1 over 13. You simplify it. So this is the answer, 1 over 13. For part B, the probability of drawing a diamond. How many diamonds are there? There's 13 diamonds, right? They're right here, all the 13 diamonds. Over the sample space, which is 52. So 13 over 52 will give us 1/4. The answer is 1/4. For part C, the probability of drawing a red card. There's 26 red cards. So 26 over 52 will give us 1/2. Okay. Now a face card or an ace. How many face cards are there? There's, right, I said there's 3 face cards for each suit. So 3 times 4 is 12. How many aces are there? There's 1 ace on each suit, so it'll be plus 4. Over the sample space, which is 52. So then 12 plus 4 is 16 over 52. Then we simplify, so it'll be 4 over 13. This is the answer for D part. Okay. So let's move on to number 21. Number 21, we're still doing probabilities. Okay, 21 says, suppose 2 fair dice are rolled. Find each of the given probabilities. For A part, the first die shows a 2, or the sum of the result is 6 or 7. So let's see what it is here. So this is how we find, right? The or means this means or, right? Or the union is going to be the probability of A plus the probability of B minus where A and B intersect. Okay, so let's give a scenario here. So here let A represent the event that the first die is a 2. And let B be the event that the sum is 6 or 7. Okay, so here we go. So for the first die to be a 2, right, it's going to be all these here because that's a 2, right? The first die is a 2, 2, 2, 2, and 2. So that's why this is the what they're asking for the A set, event A. Now for event B is the sum is 6 or 7, right? So all these diagonally, right? 5, 1, 4, 2, 3, 3, 2, 4, and 1, 5 will give us 6. And 6, 1, 5, 2, 4, 3, 3, 4, 2, 5, and 1, 6 will give us 7. So how many are in event A? I mean, my sample space will be 36, but how many are in A? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. How many are in B? Are in set B, which is a sum is 6 or 7. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So it's going to be 11. So it's going to give us 6 over 36 plus 11 over 36. Now, where does A and B intersect? Where do these two intersect, right? They intersect right there, 2, 4, and 2, 5. So it's going to be 2. So it'll be minus 2 over 36. So 6 plus 11 is 17. 17 minus 2 is 15. And then we simplify. The answer is 512. That's the answer for A part. Now for B part, let's go to the next slide. The sum is 11, or the second die shows a 5. The sum is 11 will be will be these two here, right? The sum is 11 will be here. Only these two, 5, 6, and 6, 5. Right? So let A be the sum is 11, which will be these two here. And let B represent the event. The die shows a 5, right? The second die is a 5, so the second die is a 5 will be all these right here, right? All these, the second die is a 5, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So then, where do they intersect? Right there, which will just be 1. So let's put it right here to the formula. So the probability of A union B is equal to the probability of A, which will be 2 over 36, plus the probability of B, which will be 6 over 36, minus 1 over 36. So the answer will give us 7 over 36. So this is my solution for part B. I believe we need like 3 more problems here. Sorry that I went over, guys, but I think it's important for our students to really have enough information so they can do well in this exam. For many years, the state of California used 3 letters followed by 3 digits on its automobile license plates. No, there's 26 letters in the alphabet and 10 digits make all the numbers. So for part A, how many different license plates are possible with this arrangement? Right? We have 6, right? We have 3 letters and 3 digits. These are my letters and these are my digits. So how many letters can go on the first slot of the license plate? Will be 26. Second one, 26, 26, 10, 10, and 10. Why do we do it that way? Because there's no restriction, right? There's no restrictions. So that's why we do it this way. We multiply it out. So we get something like 17,476,000. For part B, when the state ran out of new numbers, the order was reversed to 3 digits followed by 3 letters. Those are my digits. Those are my letters. So again, since that's the only restriction, so it's going to be 10, 10, 10, and 10, 26, 26, 26, and we get the same answer as part A. So then for part C, several years ago, the number described in part B were also used up. So the state then issued a plate with 1 letter followed by 3 digits and then 3 letters. So how many new license plates will this arrangement provide? So this is 1 letter followed by 3 digits followed by 3 letters. Hey guys, this will be amazing, guys, because isn't this similar to part B, but only one extra letter was added? Let's see what's the difference. That'll be 26, 10, 10, and 10, 26, 26, and 26. You multiply those out, it's going to give you 456,976,000. Imagine, guys, by adding one letter, we went from about 17.5 million to almost 457 million just by adding one letter to the plates. Okay. Now, this is permutations and combinations. These are the key words for permutations. These are the key words for combinations. So 23 says, a lottery game requires that you pick 6 different, I forgot to put their numbers, it's supposed to be 6 different numbers from 1 to 99. If you pick all winning numbers, you win $4 million. How many ways are there to choose 6 numbers if order is not important? And for B part, how many ways are there to choose 6 numbers if order matters? So for part A, right, the order is not important, so it's going to be a combination because order does not matter. Right, so we use combination. So this is a formula for combination, right? So you can actually also put in the calculator. You should get like 1,120,529,256. Now for part B, how many ways is there to choose 6 number if the order matters? Right here, the order matters is going to be a permutation, right? Because order matters. So it's going to be 99p6. This will give us way more than the combination. This will give us 806,781,064,320. Okay, now, number 24. This is exactly from the book. In exercise 59, if you pick 5 out of 6 numbers correctly, you win $5,000. In how many ways can you pick exactly 5 of the winning numbers without regarding to order? Okay, so I believe that this particular problem said that the lotto requires for you to win, for you to match 6 numbers, right? You get 6 numbers. If you match them all, you win the lotto. But also, they want you to have like a consolation prize that if you get 5 out of 6 correctly, you win 5,000. Okay, so the answer, so here the solution is how many, right? Without regards to order. So this is going to be a combination. So it's going to be, right, 5 out of 6. So 5 out of 6 means 6 combination 5. And then we're going to multiply by, right? Remember the lotto requires need to pick 6 out of 99 numbers. So then we're going to multiply by, this will be 93 combination 1, right? Remember, this must add up to 6, and this must add up to 99. Right, again, this would add up to 99, and this will add up to 6. So we multiply 6 combination 5, which will give us 6, times 93 combination 1 will give us 93. So it'll be 458. That's how many ways you can pick the 6 winning numbers without regards to order. Okay, now, let's go now. This is number 25. I believe this is the last one. It says here, a financial advisor offers 8 mutual funds in the high risk category, 7 in the moderate risk category, and 10 in the low risk category. An investor decides to invest 3 high risk funds, 4 moderate risk funds, and 3 low risk funds. How many ways can the investor do this? Okay, so solution. So this order does not matter, so it's going to be combination. Okay, so we have 8 mutual funds in the high risk, and they want to get 3. So it's going to be invest 3 from the 8 will be 8 combination 3. For the moderate risk, we have 7 total. We want to invest with 4. So 4 from the 7 will be 7 combination 4. And finally, we have 10 in the low risk. We want to invest in 3. So it's going to give us invest 3 from the 10. It's going to be 10 combination 3. So 8 combination 3 will give us 56. 7 combination 4 will give us 35. And finally, 10 combination 3 will give us 120. If you multiply those out, it's going to give us 235,200. Okay, that's how many ways to select the funds. I believe that's it for this final review. I want to thank you for joining us. And if you have any questions, you can raise your hand or you can go in the mic and let me know if you had any questions. Let me go back and let's see here.
Alrighty.
Thank you, Rafael.
Alrighty, thank you so much to Mr. Sassi for presenting all the great material that was covered in Summer 1, as well as some of the stuff covered in the 10-week courses. Thank you for the audience for coming today and being wonderful. We do hope that your summer semester went by well and that your final exams went by well as well. We will be taking a break for summer 2, but there are recordings available for all of these TVE sessions, so you can review them when need be. And I hope you guys have a wonderful day as well.